good holidays, good New Year's. I pretty much took the entire month of December off from making videos and a lot of stuff in general. I feel like I'll kick off this year, the first video of the year, with kind of a video just reflecting on Turkey Boogie, which was at the end of November. It's such an iconic place. It's my first time there. I mean, it's like, what, 6 hours, 5.5, 6 hours away from Arizona, but just never had been prior. Can't think of a better way to have experienced it for the first time other than, you know, from the top of cliffs, jumping off of them. So I'm just gonna kind of reflect back on the trip a little bit. Let's get started. So we all drove from Phoenix, myself, Boone, Tanya, and then their friend Delana, who I had just met. The day we actually got into Moab, it was super windy. It was like 15, 25 mile an hour gusts. It was terrible. And then we had actually heard that one dude tried doing a rollover near the King Creek area. Apparently he had a 180 and crashed back into the cliff, you know, which sucks. You never really want to hear that. But, you know, you wouldn't catch me jumping in those winds. Glad the dude's okay, in spite of his injuries. So we ended up going back to our Airbnb, and I think we, you know, got to know everybody. We had a good number of people that were staying in our Airbnb, so it was cool kind of seeing where everybody came from and their stories and everything like that. So we wake up early the next day, and we decided we're gonna go back to King Creek and do Tombstone, which is probably the most jumped and most popular exit in Moab.
It's good. All right.
I think from what I remember, it's like 380 or 400 impacts, so it's pretty good height. So I opted to go last, which is pretty much the case since I've gotten my drone. I've been flying around trying to get footage of people. I'm totally cool if I like getting footage of people. It's cool to get footage of yourself from a new angle. You may never have gotten it before. And I'll be the first to admit that my FPV flying skills are incredibly amateur. I feel like I've developed enough of a fundamental kind of understanding to be able to stay out of jumper's way while still being able to get some pretty cool shots. And with these things, I know it's just a matter of time before somebody gets injured or, you know, worse, so definitely something to keep in mind. Having drones around can be a huge distraction, so I always like to try and ask a lot of jumpers if they're comfortable with me flying one. It's just another thing that, you know, gets in your head.
Yeah, good shit, man.
She's good. All right, buddy, you ready? I want to do a gainer.
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
All right, you want to turn?
All right, whenever you're ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. See you, buddy. Love you.
Love you.
It's kind of a cool way to actually get a good briefing on a jump before doing it. FPV drones on the jump are kind of a cool tool to have.
Three, two, one. See ya.
Good sh We ended up going back to the hostel. We all repacked. There's a nice little lawn there. Still pretty cold when we were there. I think it was like, I think the low was like 20, the high was like 40, but definitely a lot harder to pack when your fingers are freezing. So we decided to head over to Mineral Bottom.
Going to make this guy?
One thing I noticed actually at this exit in talking to people and a few other exits as well was when I would ask people what the height of a lot of these exits were to impact, I would get quite a range of numbers, and honestly, like, I should be getting that information myself. I should have like a rangefinder or do rock drop. I was just surprised by how many different answers I would get for the same exit. Like for Mary's Gash, I think I heard everything from like 350 to like 450. I was like, all right, it's at least 350.
Nice fucking delay.
Definitely getting a little more comfortable and taking longer delays. Just a little bit.
Ready?
Yeah, buddy. Love you too, man.
Have fun.
See you on the ground. All right. 3, 2, 1. See ya. Oy. Come on, baby boy. Yeah, buddy.
So we kind of ride back up, we all packed, and then we walked back out to the exit. There's a bunch of people on exit again, so I was like, all right, I'll go last. I'm gonna film all you guys. Just getting some zoomy shots, going as fast as the little DJI Avata will kind of go. It was like golden hour, super sick. The cliff that we're on that extended all the way out was perfectly illuminated with all the shadow behind us. It looked like it was almost floating. It's super sick. Super sick being able to kind of inspect the entire rock feature before jumping it. I mean, in this case it was after, but you know, here you can kind of see how overhung Mary's Gash actually is. Then Mike and Beth did another two-way. And if you look at the bottom left, you'll see Mike has a 180. Watch that again. Look, a pretty good separation. Boom. The exit looked pretty good too, so not really sure what caused that. So I cut around super quick, and I'm like, oh, thank God, you know, he cleared that. Everyone on the exit, they're like, did he have a 180? I'm like, yeah, he's good. He turned it around. Yep, boom, just seeing if anybody's in there. I like it. And while we're kind of talking about malfunctions and things of that nature, something that was pretty important that we, you know, tried to make sure we kind of discussed with each other while we were there and, you know, prior was the altitude and how when your canopy deploys, it's going to be traveling a lot quicker and it's going to be a little less responsive and it's going to sink more when you're making turns. So if you do have an off-heading or a 180, you know, you need to realize that you're traveling at that cliff quite a bit quicker than you usually would, you know, like 2,000 feet. Definitely good to know if you're going to Moab, air's thinner. All right, and I think I was last of our group to go. So, strapped up the drone and everything.
Alright, let's do it, buddy.
Love all of you.
Nice delay. Good
heading.
heading.
Killer Jasmine.
Good job, Divine.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Love all of you. Nice 180, dude.
So then that night, that was the night of the party. So we went to the party, super rad. What's really cool is I think almost all the proceeds for the tickets you purchased to attend the Turkey Boogie party actually go to the local search and rescue and a lot of the facilities on the BLM land. So naturally the base jumpers have a pretty good relationship with the BLM there, and it's pretty self-sustaining. It's really cool to see that kind of care put into protecting, you know, a place like this. It's just absolutely incredible to have. So yeah, party was amazing, but our attendance actually got cut a little bit short. We had been kind of walking around the party, checking everything out all night. There's cliffs actually directly across from the stage, which are super cool to climb up on top. You can see pretty much the entire party from up top. At some point throughout the night, we lost Tanya, Boon's girlfriend, my friend, and we hadn't seen her in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, through that whole time, Boon's like, hey, have you seen Tanya? And I was like, nah, and I'd asked the people, yeah, you've seen Tanya? And we couldn't find her anywhere. We're looking for her forever. And then towards the end of the night, our friend BB came up and she's like, hey, I found Tanya. I need you to stay calm, but she fell. And me and Boone are like, what do you mean? She's like, she fell from there. And she points to the huge cliff behind us, like 25, maybe 30 feet high. And we're like, what do you mean? How'd she fall from the cliff? Phoebe, super calm. Phoebe's actually an ICU nurse, so she's probably pretty familiar with a lot of talking to people and, experiencing a lot of traumatic things. She's like, no, she's cool. She's talking, she's responsive, but, we should probably take her to the hospital, get a CT scan. Phoebe's crazy. She's actually a travel nurse. She had been working in Reno, so she actually got off her shift and she drove straight to Moab, straight to the party. She'd been awake for like 40 hours straight. So she leaves the hospital, drives like 8 hours, and then has to drive directly back to a hospital. So that's why BB's an absolute homie. So she takes us into the trailer so we can kind of see Tanya, talk to her and such. Tanya's totally cool. We'd been partying, so she's a little out of it, but she's responsive, she's talking. Derek drove us to BB's car. BB throws us in her car and we drive to the hospital. Tanya gets a CT scan and Boone and I are in the waiting room, and we get a text from BB and she tells us, she's like, yeah, CT came back totally cool. Other than being a little sore and bruised up and a few cuts, like she's totally cool to go home. She's totally fine. We're like, holy shit. That's insane. Like, she's lucky to be alive falling from that high. And then at that point when we realized she was fine, we're like, all right, it's probably fair game to make some jokes and make light of the situation a little bit. No, you didn't want a base jump, so you decided to open up your own exit without a parachute. Definitely gonna get an award for lowest free fall. They're like, yeah, next year we're gonna name that particular cliff Tanya's Gash, just in your honor. Everything turned out good. Luckily, nobody got hurt. Actually, when we got back to Arizona, Tanya did realize that she had a compression fracture, I think in 1 or 2 of her vertebrae. So luckily, that wasn't worse. She was out of skydiving for a few weeks, I think like 4 weeks, but she's back at it now. So that was our experience at the Turkey Boogie party. So the day after the party, we pretty much didn't do anything. Everybody was just in recovery mode. Tanya felt like she got hit by a car. So we pretty much just watched nature documentaries all day. And nature documentaries, my jam. The next day, Sunday, last day we're here, I want to get some jumps in. So I ended up meeting up with Bronson, and he'd been talking about wanting to do Black Dragon, which is a pretty cool area. It's like 2 hours north of Moab. Pretty much like overhung all the way down to impact. It's like 350 feet. Super chill flat walk from basically where you land back to the area you're gonna pack. And the hike up to the exit is a really chill, just like gradual hike up. It's probably the easiest hike to any like earth exit I've ever done. When we had gotten there, the winds were actually kind of flowing down canyon, and Bronson had landed downwind. Kind of took a pretty hard beating, but it's good. But I quickly changed where I planned to land and ended up landing into the wind to the right.
Good opening, nice. Oh yeah, he is getting some wind. I might turn right, land into the wind. You good? Cool. He's standing up. Yeah, I'm turning to the right. Yeah, I'm gonna land on that road. He looked like he was cooking. Got real close to that boulder. You wanna go? You want me to go, dude? I don't care. Okay. I can go. Have a good jump, buddy.
Yeah, me too.
All right. 3, 2, 1. See ya. Super chill.
Spot across the canyon, it's funny how like, illusions kind of appear, but it feels like it's way closer when you're jumping. Got down, hiked down to our packing mat, repacked, and then hiked back up to do our second jump.
Three, two, one. See you, buddy. Like a glove?
I hooked that one around way too fast.
It looked pretty quick.
I was like standing and I was like, yeah, I was way too fast.
That was our Moab trip. The whole trip went well. Everybody had a great time. It was an awesome first experience in Moab. And nobody got injured base jumping, which was kind of surprising, you know. Kind of funny enough, the only person who got injured wasn't even base jumping. Tanya decided to get her first D without a parachute. Definitely gonna be back in the near future. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching, guys. Got some pretty cool stuff planned for this year and the foreseeable future, so stay tuned. Yeah, see you in the next video.